SIF Philomen Raj, MSc, MPhil PhD, retired Head Department of Physics, Madras Christian College, Tambaram, Chennai. He is presently serving as a guest lecturer in Loyola College, Nungambakkam, Chennai. He has a teaching experience of 35 years in Madras Christian College for UG and PG students. His field of research is nuclear physics, and he has presented about 30 papers in symposia organized by Baba Atomic Research Center, Mumbai. He has guided 50 MPhil students and about 100 MSc students in their projects. He has authored practical physics books for MSc and BSc courses. He is presently engaged in writing a book on nuclear physics for Printhias Hall, India.
Welcome back to UGC lecture series in physics. So, let us continue with nuclear and particle physics. So, in this class we shall be discussing beta decay and electron capture in more detail, and what will be the transition energy for beta decay and electron capture, and more importantly we will discuss neutrino hypothesis proposed by Pauli. When we say beta decay includes emission, spontaneous emission of beta plus, beta minus and electron capture. So, we will be going in detail, but here when we say beta decay, it includes generally beta plus, beta minus and also electron capture. So, in beta decay A remains constant. So, in beta decay A will be remaining constant, which is isobaric transition. So, already we have stated earlier, for you to just remember isobaric, you remember this A is constant for isobaric transition, only the Z changes. So, here Z becomes Z plus or minus 1, A remaining constant, Z will become Z plus or minus 1 in all beta decay. More specifically, when we think about beta plus, Z will become Z minus 1, because one beta plus is a positive charge particle with the mass that of electron, charge is positive. So, when the positive charge comes out of the nucleus, one neutron number decreases. So, this refers to the neutron number Z. So, the Z becomes Z minus 1 because of the emission of one positive charge. When you take beta minus emission, Z becomes Z plus 1, because removal of a negative charge is equivalent to adding a positive charge. So, it becomes Z will become Z plus 1. So, this is the background. Now, here when does beta plus occur? Beta plus will occur when there is proton excess, when the charge is too much inside the nucleus, when the charge is larger than what is required for stability, one proton wants to give up the charge. So, we get beta plus emission when the proton, when there is proton excess, and when there is a deficiency of proton, then it will become beta minus will be emitted and the charge will become Z plus 1, one proton number will increase. Therefore, now what is electron capture? Electron capture, when there is proton excess, already we stated, when there is proton excess beta plus takes place, but sometimes beta plus will not be allowed to come out. There is a selection rule, it will not be allowed to come out. We will come into detail what is the condition why beta plus is not allowed. So, the nucleus is having excess charge, so it wants to give out one charge, but beta plus is not allowed. So, what else it can do? So, what will happen is it will pull one electron. So, the nucleus which is having excess positive charge wants to give out one charge by emitting beta plus, or when it is not allowed, we will see why it is not allowed. When it is not allowed, it wants to reduce the charge by pulling one electron in from the atom. So, in the atom we have got electrons. So, it will pull one electron, thereby one proton will become neutron. So, one charge will decrease. Therefore, in electron capture, EC is electron capture. In electron capture, a proton excess nucleus quenches one of its charges, that is the charge will be positive charge will vanish. It quenches one of its charges by pulling an atomic electron into the nucleus. What is the most probable one? closest one will be k electron. So, it is called k electron capture. So, the k electron will be pulled inside, thereby again Z becomes Z minus 1. So, we are able to visualize there is a proton excess, one electron comes there, so and the positive and negative vanishes, the charge vanishes. Therefore, one proton number has reduced, that proton has become neutron. So, Z becomes Z minus 1. See here, remember A equal to constant. So, the number of nucleons do not change, only one proton number has reduced, which means proton has become a neutron. Therefore, what we observe is beta plus, when there is proton excess, beta plus takes place, or the other processes electron capture can take place. Therefore, as a summary what we can say is beta plus and electron capture are competing processes, either beta plus will take place or electron capture will take place, they are competing processes. So, with this in mind, we will go to the next slide. So, the transition energy. So, what is the energy which is delivered during beta decay? Already we said beta decay includes beta minus, beta plus and electron capture. So, we will just take one by one. So, we are taking the first one as beta minus. For beta minus, Z becomes Z plus 1. Already we stated that Z will become Z plus 1 for beta minus decay. Now, what is the energy, the Q value, what will be the energy of the beta which emerges out, or what is the energy that we expect? What is that energy? It will be nothing but the difference in binding energy of the parent and daughter, or that will be also equal to difference in mass between parent and daughter. So, the mass of the parent will be larger than mass of the daughter. So, here this is parent has got Z, daughter has got Z plus 1. So, the mass of the parent we write as Ma Z and mass of the daughter we write as Ma Z plus 1. So, this is the mass, difference in mass. That difference in mass into c squared will be the energy liberated according to Einstein's relation, energy equal to mc squared, delta m c squared. This is the delta m, what is in square bracket is delta m. So, this is the energy available. Now, here we will just put it in picture. See here, we have got one atom, we are representing one atom and this is the nucleus. So, from the nucleus one beta minus m particle comes out. Now, we have put one stray electron, I will just tell you what is that. See, when the beta minus particle comes out, what will happen is, see the proton number has increased by 1 unit. So, for atom to be neutral, we require one extra electron, because the proton number has increased from Z to Z plus 1 because of this emission. Therefore, the neutral atom requires one electron. Therefore, what that atom will do, it will pull one stray electron from the atmosphere, it will pull a stray electron into that, thereby the system is neutral. Now, it is neutral because the proton inside is Z plus 1 and because of this inclusion of stray electron, the number of electron is also Z plus 1. So, now here in this process there is no change in electron mass, because one electron mass has emerged out, another electron mass has entered the atom. Therefore, there is no change in electron mass. So, there is change inside the nuclear mass, there is a difference in nuclear mass, but there is no change in number of electron, there is no change in electron mass, because one has come out and one has gone inside. To maintain charge neutrality, that is what I just explained. To maintain charge neutrality, the atom pulls a stray electron into the atomic shell, that is this part, from a stray electron. So, you just will just summarize this. For beta minus, there is no change in electron mass, number of electron, only there is a change in the nuclear mass. Now, we will go to the next thing. We take beta plus, here Z becomes Z minus 1, that is the initial discussion we had. Z becomes Z minus 1 for beta plus emission. Now, what is the Q value of this beta plus? Again, we have to take the parent, mass of the parent minus mass of the daughter. So, we take mass of the parent and mass of the daughter. So, this is the nuclear mass of the daughter. And what is this one? So, we have included another part. With the diagram, we will be able to understand what is this. See, as far as beta plus is concerned, beta plus particle comes out. Thereby, what happens? Z becomes Z minus 1. The proton, number of proton has decreased by 1 unit, because of this emission. Now, for a neutral atom, the number of proton must be equal to number of electron, but here there is one shortage, the number of proton is only Z minus 1. Therefore, because of this beta plus emission, there will be one extra electron, on the atomic shell. In order to maintain charge neutrality, this electron will be thrown out, because it is not bound. For a neutral atom, number of proton will be equal to number of electron. Here number of proton has decreased by 1 unit, therefore, there will be one excess electron which will also be thrown out automatically, it will be thrown out. Therefore, in this process what happens, 2 electron masses are lost for the parent atom and the daughter atom. If we take, not only nuclear mass change, but there is electron mass also. See, you remember, one is nuclear mass and we are talking about the atomic as a whole atom. So, for the whole atom, if we include the electron, it becomes the atom. Therefore, this part refers to nuclear mass difference, and because of the loss of 2 electron masses, we get 2 times me, mass of electron. So, 2 MEc squared. Therefore, what we observe is this is mass of the parent, and these 2 together will be the mass of the daughter atom. Therefore, minus this and also this one. Therefore, 2 electron masses are lost. Therefore, we write the equation this way. Therefore, when is Q will be positive? Q will be positive only if delta m, this part is I call this as delta m. This delta m is the mass change in nuclear mass. This part, let me call it as delta m. So, only when this delta m is greater than 2 MEc squared, then we will be able to get Q positive. If this part, if the first 2 terms to put together, if it is a smaller quantity, then it will be a negative. When it is negative, it is not at all energetically possible, because Q is greater than 0 is the condition for any emission, alpha, beta or gamma, any emission, this Q must be greater than 0. Only then reaction becomes, decay becomes energetically possible. Therefore, Q beta plus must be greater than 0 only if delta m is greater than 2 MEc squared. See, we have just put 2 MEc squared because this is an energy, and here this delta m, here also we can put 1 c squared, or this is for energy, because it is energy we have just included that way. So, this difference delta m must be at least greater than 2 Me. Let me put as 2 Me. This is also in energy, this is also in energy, 2 Me. That is the condition. Therefore, what will happen is, this is for beta plus. As a summary, just take for beta plus, we have to have at least delta m greater than 2 MEc. That is why we get restriction for beta plus, because there is a condition imposed, whereas for beta minus there is no condition imposed. Here there is a condition only if. So, this is the condition imposed. Now, we will go to the third one, electron capture. So, here again electron capture, Z will become Z minus 1, because the nucleus will pull one atomic electron into the nucleus, thereby Z becomes Z minus 1. So, EC, when you take Q value of EC, MAZ minus MAZ plus 1, this is the parent mass MAZ, and this is the daughter mass MAZ plus 1, Z minus 1 into C squared, that is equation 3. This is the energy. Here pictorially just see, this is the atom. In the electron capture, what happens is, one of the atomic electron is pulled inside, because the nucleus is having excess charge, excess proton. It wants to reduce one charge. So, it will reduce the charge by beta plus emission, or by pulling one electron inside, pulling a negative charge, thereby one charge will be neutralized or quenched. So, this electron will be pulled inside. So, what you see is, there is no change in electron mass. This electron was outside the atom, now it has gone inside. Therefore, there is no change in electron mass in the parent atom and daughter atom, because both have got same number of electron. It is only displaced from one position to another. Therefore, we say that there is no change in electron mass in this process. The electron is only displaced from this point to this point, from outer maybe K shell to inside the nucleus. It has only changed position. Therefore, beta plus is forbidden. Already we have stated as a summary, we said for beta plus delta m must be greater than 2 MEC squared. So, for beta plus, therefore, beta plus is forbidden for delta m smaller than delta MC squared. So, I will go back to this. See, this is the condition we have written. Beta plus is possible only if delta m is greater. If it is smaller, it is forbidden. Here it is smaller, therefore, beta plus is forbidden. When it is forbidden, the electron capture will dominate, because why it dominates? The nucleus, which is proton rich, wants to quench one of the charges. So, it wants to emit one beta plus particle, but there is a condition imposed. But therefore, what will happen? But all the same, it is wanting to reduce one charge, very terribly wanting to reduce one charge. So, it will pull one electron. Therefore, what we have is when it is delta m is smaller, beta plus is forbidden. Therefore, electron capture will dominate. When delta m is greater than 2 MEC squared, when the energy is greater, then what is possible? Both are possible. If it wants, it has got both the possibility. It can emit one beta plus, but thereby reducing one proton charge, or pull one electron and reduce the proton charges. Both are possible. Therefore, when delta m is greater than 2 MEC squared, both beta plus and electron capture are possible. Therefore, they will be competing each other, both will be available. So, as a summary, what we can say, delta m is the condition, delta m equal to greater than is the condition for beta plus, and if it is less than that, beta plus will not be emitted and we get only electron capture. When it is greater, both are possible. Now, numerically, if you just calculate, this is the condition we have written, 2 MEC squared. You can use your calculator and just see what is the mass of the electron and what is velocity of light c, 3 into, so you just multiply and see, convert it to energy, it will be in joules, you convert it to MeV and you will find it is about 1 MeV, slightly more than 1 MeV. When the energy is slightly more than MeV, 1 MeV, both beta plus and electron capture are possible. To be more specific, it is 1.02 MeV, 1.02 MeV. Why it is so? Because the rest mass of electron is slightly more than 0.5. So, you will be getting 1.02, because it is 2 times the mass of electron. So, that is the energy required in order to emit one beta plus emission. So, this is the condition. So, as a summary, what we can say is, if the energy is less than 1 MeV, about 1 MeV, you can calculate and see what is the actual value. If it is about 1 MeV, less than 1 MeV, only electron capture is possible. If it is greater than 1 MeV, then electron capture and beta plus both are possible. And you can calculate as a problem, you can calculate, it will be 1.02 MeV, because you know from the Clark's table you can take what is the mass of electron, calculate, you will get in joule, and then you calculate in convert it to MeV. Now, we just go to the next one. 3 equations we have almost derived. What we have shown is the energy will be for Q beta minus, Q beta plus and Q electron capture. We named the equations as 1, 2, 3. The Q values are, and what we find is the Q values are discrete. So, that is the energy. We get one equations here 1. If you calculate mass of this will be one particular energy, maybe 2 MeV, some value you will be getting, that is called discrete value. Now, if you take this one, maybe you will get 2.5 MeV. So, that is a discrete value. You take the third equation, we got just see what is the mass of the parent, mass of the daughter. If you just calculate, you will be getting maybe 2.6 MeV, that is depending on the what parent and what daughter. So, you will be getting some value which are discrete, monoenergetic. When you say discrete, it is monoenergetic, single energy value. That is what we see from all the 3, beta plus, beta minus or electron capture. And but what we observed is entirely different. So, according to equations 1, 2, 3, the Q values are discrete. That is what we just now stated. Therefore, what we expect is line spectra. What we should expect if we take a beta particle detector and x axis we are putting the energy in the x axis and the number of beta particles n beta in the y axis. So, if you have a detector and find out What you expect, what all the experimental people expected is the energy, all the beta particles should come with this energy Q. What is this Q? This Q is the energy given by equations 1, 2, 3. It can be beta plus, beta minus or electron capture. The Q will be decided by equations 1, 2, 3. So, we expect all the particles to come with same energy. That is what we expect, but the experimental observation was not so. Say, observed spectra is continuous. We found that the observed spectra is continuous like this. We have got continuous. Instead of being monoenergetic, the spectra is continuous. So, it changes smoothly like this, like almost parabolic, reverse parabolic, and then it comes this way. This is the number of beta particles. So, this is the experimental curve. Experimentally, you find that most of the beta particles are coming with the energy Q by 2, only half the energy that is expected. What we expect is this one, that is according to the equations 1, 2, 3. This is the energy we require, we expect, but we find that most of the particles, because this is the peak of the curve, most of them are coming with the energy half of that. So, suppose this is 4 MeV expected, most of them are coming with 2 MeV. If it is 5 MeV expected, most of them are coming at 2.5 MeV. But they found that none of them, see this is 0, none of them were coming with the energy, expected energy. That is called end point energy. At the end point, number of beta particle is 0. So, at that point you find that most of them are coming, none of them are coming with expected value. Most of them are coming with half the value. So, the question is, where is the missing energy? Only half the value you are getting. Where is the missing energy? Here comes the Pauli's neutrino hypothesis. What he said, the missing energy is carried by neutrino, a particle which is accompanying beta particle. So, the beta particle is carrying energy Q by 2, and the other particle neutrino, it was named by Pauli. He said there is a particle neutrino which is accompanying. Then people started questioning, if it is some other particle which is accompanying, let us detect that. So, they tried detecting that particle, but it was not, the charge detector did not respond. Then Pauli said it is neutrino. So, it has got a neutral charge. So, you can't detect using a charge detector. So, you call it as a neutrino, which is charge is neutral, neither plus or minus. Therefore, charge detector cannot be used. So, what we observed is most of the beta emitted were emitted with the energy Q by 2. So, the neutrino carries the missing energy, that is what we just now said. The charge detectors fail to detect the neutrino. Therefore, the property of the neutrino is, we say it must be a chargeless particle. Now, what the next set of experimental people tried is, so why can't we put one calorimetry experiments? What to do? For example, cobalt 60. Cobalt 60 is a beta emitter. Now, the expected value, just for example, suppose the expected energy is 4 MeV, and the detector, charge detector is showing only half of the 2 MeV. Now, what the experimental people suggested is, let us put the cobalt 60 inside a calorimeter. If we put inside a calorimeter, then what happens is there will be temperature increase due to beta particle and also neutrino. Therefore, the temperature will be rising. So, from that we can always find out what is the total energy released, whether that particle is taking that energy. Now, what they found is the calorimetric experiments also failed to detect. Then what do you expect? Pauli would have answered. So, the charge detector did not detect, even the calorimetry experiments did not detect that energy goes missing. Then what Pauli said is, that is a particle which is having weak interaction with matter. So, only when it interacts with the calorimetry, maybe in a calorimeter we got oil or water. So, only when it interacts with that matter, then it can exhibit manifest energy, increase in temperature. Now, this neutrino, this fellow is having very weak interaction with matter. That is what Pauli said. And what they did, they found out the area. See, in this curve, if you take the area, this is energy. See, so many particles are coming with so much of energy, so much of particle coming with so much energy, this one so much energy. So, if you integrate the whole thing, I must be able to get the total Q value. They wanted to find out the area of the curve. Even the area of the curve corresponded only to Q by 2. Now, there is a serious problem. Whether there is a really missing energy, conservation of energy is a question. Then what Neutrino said is, it is not the particle is carrying the energy, but we are not able to detect that. Pauli further wanted to establish this neutrino hypothesis. So, what he said, see, the neutron becomes proton and by emission of beta minus particle, and along with that antineutrino. So, neutron becomes proton, beta minus. So, you see the charge, as far as charge is concerned, this side is 0, this is positive, this is minus. So, charge equation is correct. This antineutrino accompanies beta minus particle, that is chargeless. So, the charge equation is correct. So, here neutrino and antineutrino, we will go into that later. So, a particle which is accompanying beta plus is termed as neutrino, and the particle accompanying beta minus is antineutrino. So, we get the symbol. Later we will discuss how neutrino is different from antineutrino. Now, if we take spin into account, the spin is off here, because neutron is a spin off particle, proton is a spin off particle, this is beta minus particle, that is like electron is a spin off particle. Now, if you do not include neutrino, what will happen is, this side it is off, this side is off and off. So, it can be either parallel combination or anti-parallel combination. It will take plus of minus of 0 or plus of 1. So, this side is off and this side will be either 0 or 1, which violates the spin conservation. Therefore, he included neutrino and said that neutrino should have spin off, only then spin is conserved. So, what we see is neutrino, Pauli said the particle, the neutrino should have spin off particle, only then it will be, we will be able to account for spin. So, the spin is conserved only by including neutrino or antineutrino, along with beta plus neutrino, along with the beta minus antineutrino. Therefore, as a last sentence, what we can say is, Pauli's neutrino hypothesis is established for two reasons. In order to account for the missing energy, if we do not take neutrino into account, we cannot account for the energy which is missing, who has taken, some theft has happened, who has taken. Neutrino is the culprit, he has taken the missing energy, and also only by including that neutrino we will be able to have spin conservation. So, thus the neutrino hypothesis was established. Now, we will just summarize what we have. See, and this is the expected, suppose this is neutrino spectra which is not detectable, then this will be the spectra, because the other one beta particle was this way, neutrino is the reverse. In the International Neutrino Observatory, INO Theni, Madurai, this is the laboratory which is being established in order to detect neutrino. Let us summarize. So, the beta decay includes beta plus, beta minus electron capture. Beta plus and electron capture are competing processes, and beta plus occurs for energy greater than 1.02 MeV. Neutrino is included for two reasons: missing energy and spin conservation. We will just pose a few questions. What is electron capture? Write down the Q value equations for beta decay. For what energy is beta plus emission possible? Thank you.